All right, good afternoon, cyber traders. Welcome on back here, of course, this Wednesday afternoon. Great to see Michael still with us here, Nick, Leda, and all of our students and members alike inside our live trading room. We had Rod before, John before, Warren. We got Ryan now with us, perhaps, and all of us joining us on our social streams: Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Hey, market ended up making pretty much the move that we had expected it to make off the Fitch rating headline, right? Any sort of headline like that, long-term economic downgrade on the US, like, of course you're going to get sell off, right? So we started to see that in the after hours last night, but it continued and trickled into the market open today. Normally we would expect reversal time to be around 10:15, 10:30 on a stronger day in terms of direction, perhaps a little bit later on. So if you look on the SPY chart, which is on my 5-minute here, looking at that orange chart there in the bottom, you can see it ended up tailing all the way down going into noontime and still isn't fully out of the doghouse just yet. It's been slumping off here heading into the last hour, lower high since. And, perhaps we could see the markets pull back much further, if not heading into this afternoon, then perhaps just a gap down overnight heading into tomorrow. So be careful. Just because you're getting a bounce on one stock does not mean that it's a great swing trade. There's a fine difference between a day trade and a swing trade. And for Ryan and Lawrence and Michael and Rod and Leda and Nick, all of us here, you know the difference before you press the buy button. And if you don't, then you definitely need to go back and realize why you're risking money to begin, right? I mean, 99.9% of us know that difference before they press buy, but I need to reiterate that because you can't turn a day trade into a swing trade, especially in this market right now. So, with that said, hey, AHI is on the screen to begin. It's like flat as can be. Ended up making a nice little pop early in the morning, but then died off. So, it's up big percentage-wise, but I'm going to pass on it here for right now. We'll just go across the board from top to bottom here. I'm looking for a bounce on that AMSC with Nick. Earlier in the or in the late morning, early afternoon. That was really the last call out I made on that trade. It was dropping off, and I was looking for a bounce, so it broke below 12 pretty swiftly. Well, didn't break under and over, just broke under. So where's it going to bounce from? We'll talk about that in a bit. But let's just go right from top to bottom, though, to start. You got a bunch of stocks technically up percentage-wise, whether they're too expensive or too cheap, or we'll find out. I know Mike got a few bucks on this AURC trade, just obviously very illiquid. Meds, same deal. I'm going to pass on that. A lot of this crap I'm honestly going to pass on, to be transparent with you. IDAI, let's at least cover the move that this had made from earlier today. It was a great push. Ended up building up resistance off of 240. And then from there, broke it. So much like we always preach here, once resistance gets broken through, of course, that could lead to a great entry, and it did. But if you missed it from there, resistance could potentially become support. And that's exactly what happened. It led to a nice entry, at least heading into the late morning, just failed to break out higher. That's it. Just failed to make that real big push up to 3. And even if it did break higher, it wasn't prone to making the move that you're seeing now. So, now and just smashed below that 240. So there goes that. Hey, it was a nice trade while it lasted. IDAI. Brings me right back to the AHI trade. Nice trade from the pre-market into the open, but obviously not as much doing right now. Rite Aid looks like a pop and drop type of play. Pushed up heading into the late morning, just out of nowhere. Broke out over 2. Just made about like 85-cent push. I didn't see the news out on this trade. Rite Aid? Really quick, just going to check Benzinga Pro right now just to get the news headline out on it. So this came out, honestly, the headline popped up from them at 227 just minutes ago, actually. Rite Aid shares trading higher in sympathy with CVS. After the company reported better than expected Q2 financial results and issued fiscal year 23 guidance. So, with that type of pop, though, in Rite Aid, you would have thought like earnings related figure maybe got leaked, maybe leaked earnings that came out ahead of time. That's why I was like thrown off for a second there. Like, all right, let's take a look at CVS. But if CVS was just before the open here and it just made its own move from earnings at the opening bell, that was a bit of a delayed reaction on Rite Aid, wasn't it? That was just out of nowhere. Late morning, early afternoon there, right at noontime, just bam, big pop. So call it sympathy, but that's not like a real, I don't know. That's not a real sympathy play in my eye. Of course they're in the same business, but it could just be the fact that Rite Aid's a very heavily shorted stock, and perhaps with all of these stocks we've been seeing from the last few weeks, last month, It was bound to happen, perhaps, right? And maybe there could be more to come over time on this Rite Aid trade, especially if the markets could make some sort of bounce over time soon. But yeah, right now, dragging back down. Looks like a pop and drop at least here. All right, that was at 26%. I got to catch my spot here on the gainer side, though. So what else we got? RBT. This was pushing up to its opening print price earlier at 160, held it perfect. It came back down. With the markets dropping off, obviously, UVXY will slip on our main list to begin. That's the first one on there for right now. It's an ETF, but if the markets fall off and if you have Bookmap, which, by the way, let me ask, I always like to ask this question from time to time for just, all of us here inside our live trading room. Just a quick question. Do you have Bookmap right now, whether it's the main version or if you're on Thinkorswim and have it? Just let me know. Give me a quick chat back. I want to see how many of our students have Bookmap, because obviously we've been talking about Bookmap forever. So if you've been here for a little while now and you still don't have Bookmap, I would say that you should probably get slacking. Bill, Charles, John, Felix, Roger, Larry just got it. Very nice. Congratulations. And Ryan, too. And Kathleen. There we go. A lot of us here. And, of course, talking to a smaller crowd here in the afternoon for a summer Wednesday compared to the morning session. Maybe I'll ask that same question come tomorrow morning when we get full house. But Larry asking, who is your data feed? So that I could just slip to you, Larry. That's DX feed. It's through Bookmap. But if you're on the Thinkorswim version, you just, discuss it through Thinkorswim. They're a rep there, and they'll be able to assist with that. All right. So with that, if you got Bookmap, if you're Larry, if you're Kathleen or Bell or Charles or any of us here, John or any one of us that have Bookmap, then it makes it a little bit easier for you to focus on an ETF like UVXY or the Qs out there, whatever it may be. So just keep that in mind. If you don't have Bookmap, then focus on a stock. That's just really it. All right, so UVXY up 16%, catching my spot once again here, but we keep it going. So a CEI pop up towards $1 earlier. It broke over it when Rich made that last call out, but unfortunately, it really hasn't shaken off it really too much. So, and it's dragging back down right now as we're talking. So I was going to put this on the main list, but I don't like that last little drop off right now. I'll put it on the side, come back to it if we need to. Teva, great pop from the morning, right from our morning watch list here. This was like the best stock across the whole open because, whereas the markets were dropping off pretty swiftly at first, this was just purely going against the grain. It's not something that you really expect. So, once we started to see this break resistance, perhaps you trust the cyber clock there and, not expect for the reversal to be at 10:30, maybe around 10:15, maybe even earlier, but it was definitely fun while it lasted. I think it topped off maybe even right at that 10:30, 10:22. Yeah, so you never want to guarantee 10:30, especially on a down day. If this is really pushing up, then you definitely want to undershoot that reversal time. But yeah, right now definitely flat here for Teva. All right, so top over to the losers list. Probably not going to find too much else on the gainer side right now. Markets, like I said, made lower highs recently here on the intraday and pulling back. So let's hop over here, see if there's any good shorts. DRVN. I didn't notice this until now. Shortable down big, but just up until recent here is dropping off. Just bounced now a moment ago. It's got some thin volume on the books, so I'm not really too interested in it really, but pass. TUP getting crushed, ended up pulling back below that 368 just now. That was a historical level that we were focused on from the end of last week. And with that, not a good sign here. So, maybe just keep it on your side list for tomorrow if it has some sort of rebound you could day trade off of, but I don't really see it happening right now here. SPR, this ain't looking too bad. What is this? Spirit Air? Is this Spirit Airlines? Spirit Aero System Holdings. Is this Spirit? This is Spirit. We're throwing this on the watch list. I didn't think Spirit was SPR. Spirit Aerosystems. I'm assuming the answer is yes, right? Manufactures aerostructures, blah, 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 blah. So honestly, it's quick skim. Is it? I'll tell you what, just the name alone leads me to say, let's just short the crap out of it. Spirit Airlines. No, but ended up leading to a big drop, whatever. This is Spirit Aerosystems, but it is relatively tradable. Down big, right at the lows. I wish it was more liquid, but we'll take it. That's it, Leda. That's it. I was drawing like a brain fart there, basically. Save. That's Spirit Airlines. That's kind of dropping off too, right? Maybe moving in sympathy with Spirit Aero Systems. But yeah, SPR is the one that we'll be trading, though. That's the one. TGI. I'm just kind of rounding off right now. If it ends up breaking lower, I'm sure we'll see it again. We'll call it out. SMG dropping off, just pretty thin on the book. We'll pass there. There's going to be a lot that's down percentage-wise, folks, so type it in the chat board early. Let me know if there's anything moving down with the market. That could be a good short. Obviously, go through all of our side list stocks here. I know AMD reported earnings going into this morning, and we were following them at first, but with the drop-off that the market had, even if AMD was looking pretty strong, not everything was going to look like Teva. That Teva trade was like kind of like an anomaly, and AMD was just dropping right with the market at the open. So I'm going to pass on it for right now. What else do we have here, folks? Michael saying QS moving lower. It's just kind of flat. Down 9%, but it's not really going anywhere. Check out just all the other side list stocks right now. PLTR had a small bounce. That was actually going against the grain just a bit earlier. IO and Q is not going anywhere as of now. These are all just side list stocks that you can keep in mind just tomorrow morning or at some point if they end up making a move later, but I don't really see much there out of them. XPEV, the AMSC trade, Nick, I don't think we're getting that bounce off of 1140. We got the hold off support, but holding over support doesn't make us money. So we said that earlier. It bounced up for about 75 cents, but then came back down. And that was just pretty disappointing because I thought it was going to try and make a squeeze up towards the VWAP there, had a good chance and just ran out of steam. So yeah, at this stage now, it's just not really in play. Did I mention the IDAI? I did earlier. It's not going anywhere right now, though. That thing was donezo. Once that broke below that, once it ended up topping off and failed to break higher from 280, we're talking at 12 p.m. Eastern time. At that time, it was dead. At that time, it was a done deal. All right, checking on social right now. Mike, great to see one of our students actually perhaps just stepping away from the trading room, joining us on social right now on YouTube. Great to see Mike here today. And then Xavier, what do you think about RAD? Perhaps a comment just from earlier. Can it come back? So that was kind of just, talking about the pop and drop before, right? In a healthier market, there's a chance, but it just seems like at this stage, especially from like the break below 250 and the downtrend off of that 250 price there, if it wasn't going to try and hold a higher low from around that area, then I wouldn't have expected it to make a stronger bounce heading into this time. And since it's only dropped off more, so even if it does bounce like 10 cents, that's not what we're striving for, right? We're not striving for that like 8 or 10 cent profit from here. We want to see a lot more. And if it wasn't holding near the highs at this time of the day, I have much less confidence, than anything else there. So, hey, look what happened on AMSC, right? Don't get stuck hoping and holding. That was my freak luck trade back from yesterday morning. Ended up closing half my trade out instantly yesterday morning. And then the other half I ended up closing out as soon as the market opened up this morning. It was down big. I was like, shoot, right away. I was like, come on, run back up to 20. Run back up to 20 in due time, maybe. All right, so folks, we're going to wrap up for right now. So, hey, if you're Xavier and Mike and wanted to join us inside our live trading room, feel more than free to do so. You could actually go right down to the link on the banner below as it's scrolling right there. Or if you're fancy with your phone, as I like to say, just scan the QR code as it pops up right there. And then that way you can get access to our live trading room just for a week-long trial. Look forward to having you there. Any questions before joining us, feel free to shoot me over a quick email first. Josh@ctutrading.com is the handle. I always like to post that there at the end there. If you're joining me in the morning here this morning, prior to the opening bell, just subbing in for Fausto. He'll be back tomorrow morning, I believe. So just be back in his normal seat, good to go for the open tomorrow for Leda, Michael, Ryan, and all of our students there, like inside the live trading room. Ryan at the bell saying AHI popped. The bell meaning the afternoon meeting bell. Yeah, I mean, it's trying to eat back up a little bit, I reckon. I mean, hey, we got SPR on our watch list, and then we got the UVXY. Is that really all we have on this afternoon list? On a day like today, where I only have 2 tickers on the list and one's an ETF, I feel like kind of forced to add something else out there on our watch list. Let's just try and go a little bit more, see what else we can nab here. There is really nothing that is looking good. We'll pop up Benzinga Pro. I never like to build out too big of a watch list, but geez, I got 2 tickers on the watch list. That's it. I mean, one's a good short. Don't get me wrong. CEI, AHI, Finger, RBT. We'll take a look at those and just see. See, like this doesn't seem like it wants to go too much of anywhere just yet. FNGR is up 10%, but the order book is terrible. Look at that. Look how bad the order book is there. Big spread for a $5-6 stock. We don't need to trade that type of stock right now. Leda asking, suppose Nikola. Yeah, it's tradable, but it's also pretty slow. So if it stalls out from here, then you're really just grinding your teeth looking at, make just pennies there. So I don't know, folks. We'll take a look. Perhaps the PLTR would be a more volatile opportunity if we're comparing a similar uptrend later, right? Obviously, one's a little more expensive than the other, but both are within the same, both are within our price range that we scan for. And IONQ slacking off there. Yeah. You know what? I don't mind kind of leaning towards the PLTR just to slip on there. It's low risk tradable based off the spread and the volume. Leda says Nikola earnings Friday. Okay, we'll definitely be in touch with it throughout this week. Xavier asking, is the subscription monthly or paid monthly? So the trial itself is $9 just to join us for a week long there. But then we offer memberships on a monthly or even on an annual basis, Xavier. So at that point, once you join us inside our live trading room, you'll be able to talk to one of our education advisors, not just for the membership prices and all that good stuff, but they'll be able to break down at least how the trading room works and where to access the workshops that come with it all, and really anything else in between. They're the middleman or middle woman between you and Fausto and you and myself. Any trading questions, actual trading questions, I'm your go-to though. All right, folks, we're going to wrap up here. Hey, Rich will be on the mic starting at 3 o'clock for Ryan, Rod, Leda, and all of us just there joining us live. And then I'll be in the chat board up until 3:30. I'll be on a coaching call with one of our students, Charles, up until then. So, hey, best of luck trading going into the market close for all of us here. Take care.